Have you ever wondered why boxing is called the sweet science? It's a fascinating paradox, this sport. On one hand, it's undeniably brutal. The goal, after all, is to knock one's opponent out. Yet beneath the surface, there's an intricate dance of strategy and tactics, a mental game that's often overlooked by the casual observer. Each jab, uppercut, and hook is more than just a swing. It's a decision, a calculated move. Just like a game of chess, every punch in boxing carries a calculated risk and reward. Boxing, in its crudest form, goes back to ancient civilizations. It was in the heart of the ancient Sumerians, Egyptians, and Greeks, where we find the earliest instances of boxing. This was a time when boxing was far removed from the regulated sport we know today. It was a brutal, bloody spectacle with few rules to curb its ferocity. The ancient Greeks introduced boxing into the Olympic Games around the 7th century BC. Back then, fighters wrapped their fists in leather thongs for protection and to inflict more damage. There were no weight divisions, no rounds, and, chillingly, no rules against hitting a downed opponent. Over the years, boxing has matured from these raw and ruthless origins. It transformed through the trials of time and the influence of civilizations from a savage display of strength and dominance into a sport respected for its technique, strategy, and skill. Boxing evolved from a barbaric spectacle to a respected sport over several millennia. And the transformation of boxing into the sport we know today came with the Marquess of Queensberry rules. In the late 19th century, a pivotal shift occurred in the boxing world. The Marquess of Queensberry rules, named after the Scottish nobleman who endorsed them, introduced significant changes, reshaping boxing into a more structured and safer sport. These rules brought gloves into the boxing ring, replacing bare-knuckle fights. This was a game-changer, as gloves reduced the risk of severe injuries, making the sport safer. But don't be fooled into believing it made the game any less thrilling. The gloves, while reducing the impact of punches, added a new layer of strategy. Boxers had to be more thoughtful about their techniques, as the gloves impacted speed, reach, and even the power behind each punch. The Marquess of Queensberry rules also introduced timed rounds, a radical departure from the old ways where bouts could drag on indefinitely. Each round, typically lasting 3 minutes, required boxers to be strategic, conserving energy for the long haul, and creating a more spectator-friendly sport. And then there was the prohibition of grappling. Boxing was no longer a free-for-all. Bouts became more about finesse and less about brute strength. This paved the way for boxing to become a sport of skill, strategy, and endurance. These rules set the stage for boxing to become a mainstream sport. The Marquess of Queensberry rules transformed boxing, shaping it into the sport we cherish and admire today. Today, boxing is a multi-billion-dollar industry with millions of fans worldwide. From humble beginnings, it has evolved into a major sport, as thrilling as it is controversial. The rise of boxing promotions has catapulted the sport into the limelight, with media playing a crucial role in its popularization. Boxing matches are no longer just about the fighters in the ring, they're global spectacles, drawing in viewers from all corners of the earth. Pay-per-view figures reach staggering heights, and the spotlight on the fighters has never been brighter. However, this growth hasn't come without its share of controversies and challenges. From concerns over fighter safety to allegations of corruption in scoring and match fixing, the sport faces significant hurdles. Yet it's the very essence of boxing that keeps us hooked, the raw, unfiltered display of human strength and resilience. Despite its challenges, boxing continues to captivate audiences with its mix of brutality and strategy. Boxing, a sport as old as civilization itself, has come a long way. From its roots as a brutal and often deadly spectacle in ancient times, boxing has evolved into a strategic and highly regulated sport. The transformation was not immediate, nor was it easy. A key turning point was the introduction of the Marquess of Queensberry rules in the late 19th century. These rules, which included the use of gloves and a 10-second count for knockdowns, brought a level of civility and safety to the sport that had been previously lacking. Today, boxing continues to evolve, facing new challenges and opportunities in the modern era. From issues of fighter safety and fair compensation to the rise of new platforms for viewing and engaging with the sport, boxing remains a dynamic and compelling spectacle. So next time you watch a boxing match, remember, you're witnessing a piece of history in each punch.